Face. No, sorry. Deputy Ambassador Nicholas Nihon, Deputy Ambassador Belgium Excellency Van Face, Engineer Ochen representing PS Housing, officials from the UN Mission in Nairobi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed proud to join you all this afternoon at the historic high-level bicycle ride of public officials that I flagged off this morning at Popote Gardens on River Road. Before anything, I wish to sincerely appreciate all those who took part in the historic ride. Despite the heavy rains we're experiencing, this is indeed a demonstration of the commitment required to make safe and motorized transport a success in Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks an important and significant step in the right direction for Nairobi as a city as we all strive to improve on the mobility of our people, while encouraging a healthy mode of transport that goes a long way to reduce our carbon footprint. Over 60% of the Nairobi population walks to work or school every day. It is therefore of paramount importance that we all join hands in ensuring safe and dependable walkways and cycling lanes for our people. It is against this backdrop that my administration has made it mandatory for all new roads to include a provision for cycling lanes and footpaths. As of today, we have concluded procurement of contractors to improve on existing roads to cater for safe and motorized transport. Ladies and gentlemen, to demonstrate our commitment, my administration disbursed 800 million Kenya shillings in the last financial year to the Kenya Urban Roads Authority to complement our internal efforts to improve our overall road infrastructure. This financial year, our allocations has nearly doubled to 1.5 billion Kenya shillings. This is besides spirited efforts with other state agencies and development partners. Therefore, I wish to call upon all our residents and few leaders to join hands with us as we strive to improve our roads that have been neglected for decades. Instead of engaging in blame games, especially during this rainy season, I believe it is worthy to appreciate the fact that my administration has completed over 137 kilometers of roads in 2 years, compared to the previous administration that did 17 kilometers in 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, beyond the infrastructure, we need a spirited campaign to encourage our people to opt for non-motorized transport, primarily because it ensures a healthier population, but also because it goes a long way to help decongest our roads. On the other hand, my administration is working on a road usage and safety campaign to ensure motor vehicle drivers accord cyclists the rights they deserve, as there has been many preventable accidents, some resulting in fatalities. In conclusion, there is no doubt that this day will go a long way in creating the requisite awareness to encourage more people to choose healthier and safer modes of transport, which will also result in a cleaner environment. I wish to thank you all for the role you have continued to make this day and our future endeavors a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi County, for those words of encouragement and for the great work that the county is doing. I would like at this juncture to invite the Ambassador of Belgium, Nicholas Nihon, to also address us. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your Excellency, Governor Sonko, Executive Director Maimuna Mocharif, all protocol observed. We're very proud The embassy is very proud to be part of this action today with the county, with UN Habitat, with UNEP, Urban Pathways, ITDP, and Critical Path Nairobi. Thank you for all the bikers today. The weather was not at our side, but we made it happen, and the sun in the end was with us. I would like to start with a little anecdote. I lived for 5 years in New York, and as you know, New York has a very good public transportation system. And it's the first time I decided not to buy a car. After 5 years in New York, I went back to Brussels, and I asked myself, what am I going to do? Because if you buy a car in Brussels, you don't know where to park it, actually, at the end of the day, when you go back to your own neighborhood. And I just decided not to buy a car. And I decided to take the public transportation as I used to do it. I had bought a foldable bike in New York. I still have it. This is the one I use today. And actually, I became some sort of a multimodal person. I think the mistake that some administrations, and I would say some of our leaders do in our own countries, and it's the same in Belgium, is to oppose the people, thinking that people are 100% driving a car, or they spend all their time to ride a bike. But this is actually the some person. What we want is to have people who, when they need a car, they use a car. When they need their feet, they go to work just with their foot or with a bus or whomever. So we have to change the culture so that actually we use the right mode when it's needed. And we know that the car takes a lot of space, in the environment, and we have to actually limit the use of the car and use it in a more, I would say, smart way. Well, Belgium is a good example in terms of biking. In the north of the country, this region that we call Flanders, our leaders have been massively investing in bike lanes, and people use bikes a lot, very often, quasi almost every day. While in the southern part of Belgium, investment has been lagging, and people use less bikes. And why is it? Because actually, when you interview people, 60% of the people would say they would be ready to cycle, but actually 59% are afraid to use their bikes because of the cars on the road. So the demonstration is pretty easy. If you build infrastructures, you're going to get people on the streets of the cities and between the cities. We, in the northern part of the country, the new government, because we have a federal state, has decided to invest 300 million euros, which is some 35 billion shillings in cycling infrastructures each year. This is almost 6,000 shillings per citizen. And with this money, they will build actually 2,400 kilometers of cycling highways between the cities, which will be only devoted to bicycles. We have a city in the northern part of our country called Ghent, and they decided to create the biggest car-free center in Europe. And what we've been experiencing is that a lot of people are coming with their bikes, a lot of people are coming on foot, and it is actually a great thing for shopping, because people think that if you put the cars away, people are not going to come to the city centers to shop. Actually, people come and enjoy much more the city centers. And actually, cyclists are higher income people. I mean, I'm talking about the middle class, because when you don't have to buy a car, actually you can spend a lot of money and you can buy other things. In the southern part of the country, where we call Wallonia in Belgium, we've been investing a lot in cycling tourism. We have been rehabilitating a lot of we used to have these very old rural tramways or trains to connect to different small cities or small towns. And of course, with the advent of the buses, with the car and so on, these tramways have been actually, how do you say, just in disrepair. And we replace all these paths have been recovered to make bike lanes, which means that for tourists this is really extremely nice to go from different towns in different parts of the southern part of the country. I would like to finish by Brussels, the capital, and I would like maybe to make a parallel with Nairobi. Traditionally, Brussels, before it became some sort of a county like Nairobi, was very much under the authority and under the control of the national state. And the national government used really to use Brussels like one's own possession and do whatever they wanted with it, without really asking the citizens of Brussels what they wanted. So we, in a federal state, we're very happy to see that we now have our own government for Brussels, which is investing more and more in cycling. I have a child who's 3 years and a half. When we'll be back to Belgium, he'll be 5 or 6. And I really wish that he will be able to go to school by bike, because having children going by bike to school is to make them more autonomous. And I think this is not neutral in terms of education. So Mr. Governor, I've seen that you don't have to be convinced. I know it's the money is always at the heart of the matter. Budgets have to be found. I think you have a hardcore biker as Minister for Roads, so we wish you the best, and I hope this action, together with UN Habitat, which is here in Nairobi, we want to see UN Habitat, outside the compound, and trying to do one's best with the Nairobi County to show this as an example for Kenya, but maybe also for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you for the inspiration from Belgium. I did learn, slowly but surely. It is now my honor to invite Madam Maimuna Sharif, the Executive Director, UN Habitat, to address this gathering. Welcome, Madam.
Excellencies, representative of the Honorable P.S. Chalsinga, Engineer Ocheng, Honorable Governor, County Transport Minister, my friend, Mr. Hilton, Excellency, Ambassador of Belgium and the Permanent Rep to the UN Habitat, Nicholas Dinihon, transport stakeholders, cyclists, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Kabaria Azuguri. On behalf of UN Habitat, the UN Human Settlement Agency, I would like to thank you very much for joining us this morning, even though I'm not there, but my spirit is with you, for this high-level bicycle ride. Actually, we were very excited to cycle. I already prepared to cycle with you this morning. I already prepared with all my attire in the car. But I received a WhatsApp, it is heavy rain outside, then maybe you should come straight to Sarina. I said, why can't I cycle during the rain? Then I cannot, because they are my boss. They said, Edie, you come to the Sarina. I said, okay, I come here. So I would like to thank the Belgium Embassy, UN Environment, and the government of Kenya for co-organizing and contributing to this event. Unfortunately, actually, I would like to join you from the very beginning, but I have the commitment, but I'm happy to be here to join all of you for this program. When I moved to Nairobi, Honorable Governor, in 2018, January 2018, from my trip from the airport to Tribe Hotel, that was my first I asked my driver, I noticed large number of people walking along the road. They said, where are these people are going? They said they're going to work. And I think, clicked into my mind, Nairobi is a truly walking city. And the people walk, not because of maybe it's necessity, but maybe also they have to walk to go to their working place. So perhaps cycling could make much more easier for many of them to reach their destination. So for example, to school and also to workplace. So I believe that Nairobi could become a very good city for cycling if its safe infrastructure is provided. So the demand for cycling is high and the climate is very favorable for cycling. Compared to Malaysia, where I came from, it's very humid and hot. It's very difficult to cycle there, but unless that you ask them to cycle. Before my assignment to UN Habitat, when I was a mayor in Penang, Malaysia, I cycled very often to work from my residence to the office. And I get all the councillors to cycle with me from the main to HQ to the meeting place. And I also encourage my staff to join me cycling and promote safer facilities for cycling in Penang. So in Penang, I would like to share with you that the challenge is the weather. We have the facilities. We need to encourage people by planting trees and all that. And also, I'm very happy to hear that, I put it in my notes here, that in Penang, there is one of the guidelines, is new development. Either is it commercial or residential, you have to provide bicycle lane or pedestrian walkways. And I'm very happy to hear that you're already having these guidelines in Nairobi. So if you visit Penang, you will be able to cycle from the airport to the Penang city dedicated bicycle lane. You don't have to take a taxi. You can get the bike from there because we have the share bike. Then you just put your credit card, then you can cycle all the way from the airport, 35 kilometers to the cities. So I think this is dedicated, but at the time as a mayor, my challenge is that to get the people to cycle because it's a very hot and humid. But here, I think the weather is very, very good. And then, just to share with you, Governor, when I arrived in Nairobi, first thing, me and my husband bought a bicycle. I didn't buy a car, I bought a bicycle. And I would like to cycle. We would like to cycle to Two Rivers and also to Village Market. And then only when we want to go out, to go to safari and all that, then I bought a hybrid Lexus. I would like to buy a totally electric car, but I couldn't find at that time. So at the end, I bought a hybrid car. And this is also very important for us to, I would like to cycle from, I live in Runda, to cycle from Runda to office. But more often than not, my colleague from the UNON said, I'm also the acting DG of UNON now. ADG, please, maybe you should cycle when the weather is good, cycle in the group, not alone. So I think we also have to look into the facilities and infrastructure of the cyclists. So on daily reality in Nairobi, traffic congestion remains a challenge. So many of us waste valuable time and energy stuck in jam. So accessibility for people, particularly the urban poor, to job and social opportunities has become a real challenge, besides rising air pollution and road crashes. So I give you a bit of a National Transport Safety Authority. A total of 90,000 new vehicles are added in Nairobi alone each year. So this is hard to imagine again, the background of the already traffic-choked streets and highways. So we need a paradigm shift that encourage compact cities and mixed land use as a way to improve accessibility while reducing the need to travel. So we also need to introduce efficient, modern, high-capacity public transport systems that are well integrated with walking and cycling. I heard about that just now. I'm very, very happy And we also appreciate the ongoing effort by the national government and hope that Nairobi soon will have a citywide, good quality bus rapid transit or BRT system that will able to cater the increasing transport demand and the population. So we are pleased to work side by side with the county government on providing better walking facilities in the city center. We started with the Lutuli Avenue. I think this is very, very good. I just received, I'm in the Lutuli WhatsApp group. You can imagine the 240 people, ting tong, ting tong, ting tong all the day. And the latest news was that we received the seat, yeah? The parking. We take one parking lot, we turn it into public spaces, we put the seating. I think they just arrived last night. And just now the governor asked me, Edie, when are we going to launch this, officiate this project? And I also mentioned to governors just now, let's do more than that. I saw in one of their statements they're going to do 6 more. And please, UN Habitat is here. Let us come up with a task force. I think task force to work and study integrated Nairobi city urban regeneration and putting in safety and mobility as one of the criteria to achieve the SDG. Yes, when I came to UN Habitat, I asked my colleague, Andre is here, show me the work of UN Habitat which I can visit within half an hour. That was my question last year. Can you show me a UN Habitat project in Nairobi or in Kenya that we can visit within 1 day? Bring me. So that's why we started in the Lutuli, because I had the experience in Penang when we turned many streets into not yet fully pedestrianized, but semi-pedestrianized like what in the Lutuli. And governors, we are here to implement the Habitat Country Program that as the Excellencies Nyambi mentioned, because we launched it last year, and we are ready to work together with you. I'm ready to form, as I said, there's now a task force, how we can implement the Habitat Country Program that we launched last year, which one of it is about mobility in the city center. Count on us that as an urban planner, as a former mayor, I concur with your feeling. You want to do a lot, but sometimes there is also a limitation. But I think together with the international, with the Belgium, with the colleagues who are here, and with UN Habitat and UNEP, I think we can do it. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Edie, for those remarks and for giving perspective to things that are happening in Nairobi and globally. We would like to have a very, very brief session of questions and answers, very controlled, because these people are very busy people. So we cannot afford to be here for more than the time that we have agreed to be here. We have cyclists, critical mass, where are you? I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. I will coordinate so that we don't take too long. Thank you for organizing this, and thank you for daring to cycle in Nairobi. I'm also corrected that we should not lump the Ministry of Transport as one big body. They have a state department in charge of housing, where Namata is. They have a state department in charge of transport. Do you have representatives here? There is one there. There is also the state department in charge of infrastructure. That's where the Kenas, the Puras, and the Keras fall. And I was advised, please don't lump us. So I wanted to make that distinction here and to recognize that each of those departments play a very critical part in our development in the city. So I'd like to receive 3 questions. Kindly indicate who you are throwing the question to. Be as brief as you can. Avoid comments today, kindly, just because of the time. And then we'll move to the next step. So any person with a burning question to the governor, to the people from the ministry, because Namata is also represented here, Kura is represented, Kenya, I think they gave their apology. So if you have any question that you feel it cannot wait another forum, it has to happen here, it's your space. Kindly. This table, you seem content? Cyprian. Okay, thank you. Yes, I don't think we have a... Just come here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Excellency the Governor, all protocols observed. I have just one question. We all know the traffic in Nairobi is bad. We've tried different ways of solving this pandemic, and we keep expanding roads trying to solve traffic jams. But how about we do, something as simple as dedicating one lane, say Uhuru Highway, and just have it for cyclists and see what will happen? Is it possible, Your Excellency?
Thank you for being straight to the point. Can we have two more so that the governor can respond to more than just one kindly? Yes. Yes, so that we can all hear you. Any one person, any one other person? Engineer?
Since all cyclists have to raise it up there, I'll just continue with this. Basically, to the Excellency, the Governor, and all protocol observed, good afternoon. My name is Steve from Elite Bike Shop and Service, and also a supporter for Critical Mass. Then my question is only is to the bodies that are concerned from Kura and everyone else in the transport system. Basically, we have I'll direct the challenge to us, the cyclists. The problem we have is with the cultural acceptance of cyclists. Cyclists are seen as, poor people and guys who, you don't deserve a space in either the road or anywhere else. So just to all the bodies, how can you change the cultural perceptions of bicycles so that at least everyone feels, all the cyclists feel safe, and especially since you highlighted that children, it's important to bring the culture up from the background from childhood going up. So then I see the problem with Nairobians. Children wake up very early at maybe 5 or 4 to go to school. How about the children cycling to school, which is closely like 5 kilometers or 2 or 3. They can do that by bicycle and not having to wake up at 5 to get to school at 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Engineer told to bring the bike to you. I'm advised that's a better way of doing it.
Thank you very much. My name is Engineer Jerry Boro. I'm working with the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy, and we deal with the mass transport and NMT. And my question is to His Excellency the Governor. I'm concerned about the proposed road which is supposed to be constructed in Nairobi, the viaduct on Mombasa Road, along the line 1BRT proposed, which is a gazetted corridor for BRT. And I've heard often times that Kenya stating that the BRT will come later. And also the NMT does not look like it's fully catered for. Your Excellency, it's a big concern because this project is going to attract cars to the city when we really need to implement public transport and NMT. Thank you very much.
Wow. So there are 3 concerns. The first one, is it possible to have a dedicated lane for cyclists? The second one, how do we inculcate a cycling culture? The third one, the expressway on Mombasa Road.
Thank you very much for those questions which have been raised by our participants today.
Number one, question on the pathways or walkways to be used by our cyclists. Already, as a government, we have put measures in place that it shall be mandatory for all the contractors doing our roads, starting from this month, they are going to provide these pathways or walkways for our cyclists to be using them. So we have made it mandatory. The second question on somebody has a question on Kura. These are government agencies. We are working jointly together. We all serve the same government. And as I've mentioned in my speech, that during the last financial year, we allocated over 800 million to Kura to do various urban roads within the county. The county is mandated maybe by the law to do the county roads. Then Kenya is responsible for doing highways. For instance, you mentioned a question about Uru Highway, which is under Kenya. But since we serve the same people, we serve the same government, at times we put these blame games aside, and as a county government we have an obligation of making sure that we deliver services to the great people of Nairobi. The other day, an activist by the name of Boniface Mwangi raised this issue that we've done beautification in the middle of the road, but the pathways are in a very pathetic condition. Today, as we are speaking, the contractor is already at site. We are doing the entire Uru Highway, all the way from University Way to Mombasa Road. We are going to ensure that the pathways or walkways are done so that our cyclists, even as I've mentioned in my speech, 70% of Nairobians walk to work, children walk to school. So we are putting measures in place to ensure that this will be a problem of the past. The last question is on the expressway. This is a project that started way back when I was an MP in 2010, but then it was being funded by the World Bank. It was called, I think, dual carriage, all the way. It was supposed to start from James Gishuru Road, Kangemi, to the airport and the other lane, all the way to past Lolongo on Mombasa Road. But that time there was a lot of politics, because when this project was just about to commence, there were some encroachments which were done on the road reserve, or rather the buffer zone, and then the county government by then and the national government, I think it was under the leadership of former retired President Mwai Kibaki, when they started demolishing these properties which are encroached on the highway. There was a lot of bad politics in Parliament. There was a task force that was set to block the government from demolishing these buildings which are encroached on the highway. But this year, the president has already launched. It's called Expressway. It is starting from Kangemi. We did the launching somewhere around the Mombasa Road. The project has already started. There's also some bad politics, but we are containing them. For instance, Uhuru Park. The highway is going to pass above the CBD. So we have put measures to ensure that this time around we do not politicize development. So we are hoping for the best, and I think since we have got our partners here from the international communities, we shall be working together jointly to ensure Nairobi is a really real city in the sun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think there's a comment that the ambassador would like to say.
Yeah, I would like to respond to the question to say, you know, this is the image of bikers, and you say, how come that, you know, people just, you know, look down on us, like as if bikes were a mode of transport for poor people. I think it's just like smoking. I don't know who's smoking around, but I stopped smoking quite a while ago. You know, smoking was very cool, you know, 30, 40 years ago, and today it's not cool anymore. So what we need is role models, you know, like the governor, like the executive director, ministers. You know, I would love to see Uhuru Kenyatta on a bike somehow, someday in the CBD. because these important people just can show to the average people that, you know, it's cool. It's cool to be on a bike, and having a nice car is great, but it's not always very practical. And I think it's when you realize that powerful people, influential people, smart people are on a bike, that suddenly I think the stare of the people is going to change. So I hope that the more leaders like you and Maimuna we can have on bikes, more often in the paper, in the media, and that's the way there's going to be bit by bit transformation in the minds and in the hearts of people.
Yeah, well done.
Let me exhaust question whether we shall have BLT lanes on the expressway. Yes, we are going to have BLT in the middle of the lane. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just wanted to underscore what His Excellency the Governor said. And just to add that that viaduct will in no way compromise the BRT, and the BRT is not being put last from Namata and the perspective of Namata. The 5 BRTs are on course, and some are even being financed. And in the BRTs, we will have definitely improvements to incorporate where their roads are not going to His Excellency has underscored. The need to have NMTs incorporated, and we're doing that from the metropolitan perspective of planning and then coordinating with other agencies. I also want to underscore the fact that it's not only the BRT and the mass rapid transport. Right now, several railway stations have been improved under the NAMSI project. Kikuyu, Githurai, Embakasi pipeline. Those stations, I'm sure, we're in conjunction with the county government. They're already up and ready to receive new DMUs. So it will be an integrated system in terms of mass mobility. So there'll be more passenger trains accompanied by BRT, integrated with LMT to deal with the decongestion. And right now, together with the county government and other state agencies, we are trying to address short-term gains of the decongestion, putting the signals back to work, trying to see which junctions can be improved in the short term to ensure that traffic can flow. And above all, enforce discipline, which I'm sure the county government, together with ourselves and the national government, are looking at, because that's one little soft element which contributes to congestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it a burning one? Yeah? Okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Stephen Jogu. I work at Kenya Urban Roads Authority. I would like to respond to the question posed by Steve concerning the culture and the aspect of the children. We at Kenya Urban Roads Authority, we are grateful. Thank you, Excellency. Sonko, we have partnered and we have done a lot of NMTs. On the issue of culture, I know when you ride a bicycle, everybody terms you as poor. And we as Kura, we as the staff of Kura, we have embraced that mentality and the stereotype. And I'm happy I'm with my 2 engineers, we cycle to work. I'm with Engineer Jinfa and Engineer Chirop. We are ambassadors at our workplace. So when our CEO sees us coming to work with a bicycle, when they sit in those high-level meetings, the staff will be part of that. So anytime that a staff is coming to work with a bicycle, the full gear, and we are working in the transport sector, I think that would be a better place. If the staff are riding in those NMTs, then change will happen. On the issue of the children, we have facilities called the traffic safety parks in Meru, Kisumu, Kakamega, Nakuru, Nairobi. In Nairobi, we are based at Jakaya Kikwete. It's a land set aside. It's called a traffic safety park. There we have more than 50 bicycles, and kids come there every day for free. They are trained on how to use bicycles, and we have done some designated NMTs just a small section where kids can come there. We have schools, like 3 schools every day, and they are taught free of charge on how to ride bicycles. Please visit the facility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the contribution, Kura. 10 years ago, Kura was not what it is today. So things are happening, and unfortunately, we would like to bring this to a close because our VIPs are also very, very busy people. I'd like to truly thank you.